Didn't I Get Married is back. An explosive new comedy with two runs that you don't want to miss. One happening this coming weekend on the 1st of November and the next on the 9th of November. Joining us this morning back in studio, no stranger to the Now Morning Show, is Alan Charles, writer and director of this explosive production, which definitely may have you with some laughs, but also is going to make you think. Good morning, Alan, and welcome back.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you back. So tell us, you're back here. How was the first run? The
first one was fantastic. We did 2 shows in Central Bank back in May, and then we went to the UK and we did a run of 6 shows, and we're back now at the invitation of USC. So we'll be doing the show there this coming Saturday, the 1st of November at 7 p.m. So it's been great. The reception has been great because the topic matter is one that people want to talk about, and it's very interesting and very intriguing. So, yeah.
So aside from what you would have just shared, how does it feel to you personally? Because, I mean, you have created this. How does it feel to know that, okay, I have to come back to have this because the demand is there, but also I'm starting those conversations?
It's a very humbling experience to know that your work is being appreciated. I mean, I've been doing this for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
And I think this particular play is the one that people have really gravitated to in great numbers. The other ones have been very successful, but this one on a different level in terms of the way people are receiving it. And I'm not sure if it's the topic matter that's pushing that, but yeah, people are loving it.
And definitely when people love it, you know it's because maybe you've touched a nerve, maybe you've also started to shine some light on some truth, but something that is affecting people in society. So in light of that, for those who may not have been able to join us for the last conversation when you were here, what is the play about? Okay, so as the name suggests, why didn't I get married? And so the play is looking at some of the reasons why folks are not married, especially in the church. And especially the women in the church, because in a lot of churches, there's a lot of single women in the church. And the main reason is because of shortage of men, you know. So we're asking, in the play, we're asking the question, should the church be held accountable for the high levels of single women in the church? There's a guy, Dr. Humour Johnson, who says that the church has an interest in keeping women single. So in the play, we are asking, is the church really keeping women single for its own benefit? And back in the UK, a book was written, Black Single Christian, where some of the women said that they're angry at the church because the church sold them false premise. They told them to be a good Christian girl, get your education, get your job, prepare yourself to be a wife, and your Boaz will come along, your husband will come along. They're now in their 50s, in their 60s, no husband, no children, and so they're angry at the church for not providing sufficient men so that they can have husbands. They said the ratio roughly is sometimes 7 women to 1 man. So as much as you may desire marriage, the maths isn't mathsing, and so they are frustration, you know, and it causes issues not just with single people, but it can also affect marriage as well. You know, because the few men who are married are struggling with all these single women, single energy around them, and then the married wives are looking at the single woman with suspicion. So all around, it's not a singles issue; it's a whole family issue. So should the church be held accountable? Can the church do more to get more men in so the women can have husbands? So definitely hearing that and knowing that there are numerous factions of society, and not just, of course, in the UK, but on a global scale, they're definitely going to be able to resonate with this. But what's interesting particularly is, of course, you are a gentleman and you would have written this play. So my next question to you is, what inspired you to write it, and how challenging, if at all, would it have been for you to write it? Because the reality is this is something that is, of course, unique to women.
Right. So like I said, based on the book and what Dr. Humour says, I was challenging those notions because these are allegations that's leveled at the church. So is it true? So I did my research to find out whether or not what they're saying has any validity. So the play is actually a semi-courtroom drama where the church is actually on trial with the allegations that you are keeping women single for your own purpose. And then the audience becomes the jury to decide whether or not there's any validity in.
So if the audience becomes a jury, does that mean, with plays, every time you go, there's something different? Do we get that different essence every time we go to a new, show? Why didn't I get married?
It's the same play, the same issues. Obviously, we're hoping that it's a new audience seeing what is being said and what's being discussed. So it's not just it's a play; it's actually a discussion we're having. So the audience get very involved in the play. Back and forth with the cast members. So you feel part of the show, and it's very relatable. And so you may even see yourself being depicted in the play. Now, let me just say this, that the play isn't just about man shortage, right? So, it's not just a shortage of men. So on the female side, is your bucket list too big? Is your expectation of a man too unrealistic? That's why you can't find a husband. Do you have too many guys in the friend zone? You don't want them, but you don't want anyone.
Let's take a pause.
Red woman problem.
Please carry on, Mr. Shaw.
So we're dealing with different reasons why people are not married. So there are many reasons, but obviously man shortage is the main one for the woman. For the man, it's like your demands. We can't meet it. Even Adam, who was made perfect, can't meet some of your demands.
Oh boy. And I can definitely understand why this will be sparking some conversation. That is for sure. And I know there are probably some ladies sitting down, right? Like, we're going to go and see this play. Now, the thing that is, I think, quite fascinating about this particularly, something that you mentioned is the audience gets involved. And with Trinidadians and Tobagoans, regardless of whether or not we're not supposed to be involved, we get involved in the play. We're going to be talking, we're going to be having that interaction. What would you say there was perhaps a difference with how you would have experienced this play being done in the UK versus in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, so in Trinidad, they don't need any invitation to get involved. But the play is written in such a way that we want you to get involved. So the actors will be talking to you. Asking you questions. So but Trinidad, different level.
It's like everybody's in the cast.
So the audience is an extension of our cast members as we discuss this very sensitive topic. So even though it's a touchy subject, because we also deal with stuff like abuse, because a lot of people are not married because maybe their parents had an abusive marriage, so they didn't want any of that. So we deal with some sensitive issues, but it's still got enough humor and comedy so that you're not too depressed.
Too depressed. I mean, I think you can't help but believe they're probably chuckling, at least in some form or fashion as well, because even here we're already having a laugh. Something that I know a lot of people will be asking, and I think we would have touched on it briefly before, but I'd love to go back into it, is whether you think particularly the focus on black women in the black church is relevant to Trinidad and Tobago, similar to what is going on or what happens, let's say, in Europe, the UK and the US.
Yeah, I mean, so from my experience, I believe, yes, it is. If we're talking about black African Negro in Trinidad, yes, the results are the same, the statistics are the same, 7-1. If you go to most churches in Trinidad where it's a majority black Negro, you find that there's a lot of women in the church who are single and are frustrated and angry and upset that they can't find a husband. So it's wherever we go, through the Caribbean, the States, England, the ratio are the same, because obviously the black African Caribbean have a different experience than other ethnicities.
And that's something that is critical to highlight as well, because many times we do sit down, even us here in the Caribbean, and we'll be like, well, we're different because our lives, the way we're structured, the way we're also very blessed to be able to interact. But knowing that regardless of where you go, because of the crux of the issue, especially when it comes to the church, is something that you can see applied throughout, which shows that, again, this is why we'll see that no matter where you take this, it is going to become a sold-out show.
No matter the race, women are more than men anyway.
Yeah.
But amongst black Negro, the ratio is even higher. The disparity is even wider.
Yeah.
So, like I says, no matter how much you pray, if it's 7 women to 1 man,
it must be
somebody's going to lose out, So it's like, what's the church doing? And it's not an attack on the church. We've had some pushback where leaders think that we're attacking the church, but we're not. An allegation was leveled against us, and we are asking the questions, honest questions,
and really promoting critical thinking.
Which
is something that's important.
Men need saving too. Men needs to come to. So what are you doing specifically to get more men into the church, so you can solve?
Yeah.
And we're not saying that bring them into the church just to get married, but we have an issue in the church. If we have more men in, that will solve some of our issues. And a lot of times, the leaders haven't really thought about it, of how to change up their tools of evangelizing. Yeah. And so we have this situation that's been going on for how long?
Decades. Probably a century. Anyway, before we get to the end of our conversation, because I realize we can sit here and we can go back and forth about this play all morning. Who are some of the players in your production?
Okay, so we have Delina Roberts, we have Marlene Frank, Cleon Alexander, and we have one guest from the UK coming in, Missai Good, and we have Natalie Holdip. So most of them are from the first round, but we have got one or two new ones added to the cast. So same fun, same excitement, same bacchanal. So come along the 1st of November at USC and the 9th of November at SAPA. Why Didn't I Get Married? It's not good for man to be alone, but what about the black woman?
Is it, I'm assuming it was an intentional choice, because we're seeing the flyer on screen there, and there are 2 gentlemen just flocked by women.
It's just give you an optic of, the pressure that the few men are under, surrounded by beautiful Trini women.
It definitely must be such a challenge. Really, it must be, for sure. So when can we get tickets? Where can we get tickets? And how can we get tickets?
So tickets are available from the USC campus. You can call 373-9109, A&L Pharmacy in Port of Spain, Living Legacy in Arima, and Maranatha Bookstore in San Fernando. And for SAPA, if you want tickets, you can call 373-8043, and we will deliver tickets to you in the South.
Excellent. Before we close our conversation, I know we've been discussing, and one of the things we definitely see from this is this is something that is to bring out some thought provocation, critical thinking, and eventually, hopefully, some sort of change that will just override this cycle that we see in society. But for you personally, what do you want audiences, if there was one key takeaway they could have from this, what do you want it to be?
That we're a family, and when one part of the body hurts, we all suffer. And if there's an issue within the family, we come together to find resolutions for the situation.
Beautiful. And before we close, you were here in May, you're back again. Do you think there's a possibility that we're going to see you again soon?
If you guys come out on Saturday and next Sunday, definitely.
That is the call. Alan, it's been a pleasure to have you as always, and thank you for bringing something so thought-provoking to Trinidad and Tobago, especially in this context. And also thank you to you and your team, because as you would have mentioned, receiving, let's just say, some challenges, some pushback is not an easy thing to have to go through, but continuing to push through that cause is something that is very important and will definitely propagate change. So have a great day. Of course. Alan Charles with us here this morning on the Now Morning Show. Why Didn't I Get Married? It's back, happening on the 1st of November at 7 p.m. at the USC Auditorium. And then on the 9th of November at SAPA at 6 p.m. You can get your tickets. Make sure that you follow, you share, and you also start those conversations with your friends and your family. Stay tuned. Unique Not Different is coming up right after this.